Hi, welcome to Fix Your Gut, the live stream. My name is Jason Hooper, and we're here with John Brisson.
Hi, everybody. Hope you're doing well.
Today, we're going to talk about naturopathic medicine. We've been dishing out a lot of heat to the mainstream medical community, and we figure that it's good to keep it balanced and keep naturopathic medicine in check too. And we're going to talk about a lot of the flaws that are in supplements. And so it's interesting. We saw an article in the New York Times that talked about the state attorney general, and it's Eric T. Schneiderman, and he had a bunch of different supplements tested from GNC, Target, Walgreens, and Walmart. 5 different companies, I think. No, 4 different companies, and a lot of them, he just had various herbal supplements tested, like from GNC, Herbal Plus, Ginkgo biloba, St. John's wort, ginseng, garlic, echinacea, saw pimento. From Target, Ginkgo biloba, St. John's wort, garlic, echinacea, saw pimento, valerian root. From Walgreens, Ginkgo biloba, St. John's wort. It says Ginsberg, but I think they mean ginseng. I don't know of a supplement called Ginsberg. Do you, John? I think he's saying no. Let's see. Garlic extract, echinacea, saw pimento, ginkgo biloba, St. John's from Walmart, St. John's wort, from Spring Valley, ginseng, garlic, echinacea, saw pimento. So from GNC, the Herbal Plus supplements, they ran a DNA screen, and it turns out that none of them had 0% of the active ingredient labeled. Target, the Up and Up brand, again, 0%. Walgreens, Finest Nutrition, 0%. Walmart, Spring Valley, 0%. So what did they find? They found no ginkgo biloba DNA. The DNA identified was allium, which is a type of rice, so like a rice filler. They also found spruce, so they basically took spruce needles and ground them up. For the St. John's wort, same thing, rice, and then they found dracania, which is a typical house plant. In the ginseng, they didn't find any genetic material at all. They found they found wheatgrass in the ginseng. Garlic, they actually did find DNA in the garlic, so I guess that's good. From the echinacea, they found some DNA from some more house plants. Saw pimento qualified as negative. Actually, according to this, 6 out of the 20 tests identified the presence of saw pimento. So I guess there was a little bit going in there. But anyway, that's kind of disturbing. If you check out Mercola's site, he responded to this, and he says it's a conspiracy or whatever. And I guess the criticism is that the DNA testing might not be the best way to go, because the way that they prepare the way that they prepare the extracts, he claims, can damage the DNA. I don't really think that's true, because most of these extracts are not really extracts at all. They're just ground up herbs. An extract is, you have to either CO2 critically extract it or use ethanol
or by hexane or something.
Yeah, which is a problem also when it comes to the extracts, is the extraction method. CO2 critical extraction is the best way to go. But anyway, it's still disturbing. What if they use hexane, or they used just ground up herbs, which is usually the case with a lot of these supplements, and they use CO2 critical extraction, which they wouldn't do because it would be liquid at that point. You wouldn't have any plant residue at all.
That's why your liquid herbs from Gaia, for example, use supercritical CO2. So
yeah.
When you look in the soft gel, the herbs are liquid form inside the soft gel instead of it being dried.
And that doesn't work for, and that, yeah, the supercritical, well, I mean, it depends. If it's fat soluble, yeah, that's the way it works. But if it's like you could have supercritically extracted caffeine and it comes out pretty solid. But anyway, yeah, it's just really disturbing. I don't think any of those methods, I mean, CO2 critical extraction is, it could possibly remove, it could remove a lot of the plant material, making it less, or fooling the DNA tests, I suppose. But I doubt any, I mean, those are not.
No, those brands aren't doing supercritical extraction. Your standard brand from GNC or Walmart, they're not doing that. It takes a lot of money to do it.
Yeah, for all those supplements that I listed, they're not really, they're called extracts. Well, I don't even think they're called extracts, but they, I guess sometimes they mislabel on the package like saw pimento extract, but usually it's not that. It's just ground up saw pimento. For all of those listed, that's what it is. And if they're
unless it says standardized, that they may be standardized part of the extract, then it may not be just ground up components. If it's a specific chemical that was standardized, that would be the only difference.
Yeah. Of all of those retailers, the only one, to my knowledge, that's responded yet is GNC. And they say that they've got a plan to do extra quality control on their Herbal Plus supplements, and they say within 18 months they hope to standardize something. But like Mercola said, they are critical of the methodology that's used with the DNA analysis. So I don't know.
I mean, when I worked at Vitamin Shop, to let everyone there know, anything that was made through the Vitamin Shop brand was made by another manufacturer. Some of the stuff is standard, like ubiquinol through Vitamin Shop, for example. All ubiquinol is made by Canica QH. So it is relatively should be the same stuff. The only difference is the fillers that were in the Vitamin Shop supplement itself, which wasn't too bad for the ubiquinol. But all these products, the same with GNC. GNC is not making any of their products. There's supplement companies that are making the products for them, and they're just relabeling them.
Yeah, I mean, they're white label products, but most supplements that you buy are white label products also. When I say white label, what I mean is that they've ordered it from another company that distributes it to a lot of different people, and all that they do is they put it in a bottle and they put their label on it, and that's it. So that's what I mean by white label. And most supplement companies are using white label stuff. They're not designing their own supplements and putting it out. All they're doing is marketing. They're buying stuff in bulk, and I'm not talking about like, oh, I buy bulk powders. They're buying in massive bulk, and they're just putting it in their own packaging and they're sending it out. There are some companies, like oops, it's upside down. Upgraded Self, like Unfair Advantage. You cannot find PQQ in this form from anywhere else that I know of. So they design their original supplements and they have their own labs and stuff to make it. And that's what they do. But if like vitamin C, MitoQ, there's only one source of that on the planet. Ubiquinol, I think there's only one from Japan.
Canica QH.
Yeah, and so there's not a large amount of sources, though. So
like most RLAs coming from Genova.
Yeah. What I'm worried about, and what I kind of suspect, I mean, and we'll go. So when you heard me say that they had, that a lot of these supplements tested negative for the listed ingredient, was anybody actually surprised? Was anybody like, oh, really? What? Like we kind of know.
I wasn't. Yeah. If you're buying
we kind of know that the supplement industry is kind of shady, and that they try to pass a lot of stuff off. So, but it is quite possible that all four of these companies, Herbal Plus, Up and Up, Finest Nutrition, and Spring Valley, they might be sourcing all of their stuff from the same place.
I believe it, especially Spring Valley being Walmart's brand and Up and Up being Target.
Yeah, it's very possible. Now, the reason why they go through Spring Valley and Up and Up and all that stuff instead of saying this is great value vitamin C is because when something like this happens, this Spring Valley company, when they're investigated for fraud, it takes them like 3 years before they're forced to shut down. Like they have to, they send them a cease and desist, and then they have other investigation and all this other stuff that goes on. And a lot of them, like what's probably going to happen is with Spring Valley is they're just going to destroy that LLC, and they're going to start up as something else. It's going to be like instead of Spring Valley, it's going to be like Spring Canyon, or Sunset Morning, or I don't know. That doesn't make any sense at all. Sunset Morning.
But what if it's a branding of Walmart, just like Target's up and up as a Target brand? They do have connections somewhat to their parent company, correct? Like Spring Valley's only sold at Walmart. Up and Up's only sold at Target.
Yeah, that's their distributor. But I think the reason why they do that, though, is because if there's a problem with that product or that product line, they can just can they can just can Spring Valley and make something else.
Reintroduce it as something else.
Change the name on the bottle, on the bottle, and it's the same stuff, and they keep doing this. And as we're going to talk about later, this is also like it's also done in sports nutrition supplements as well, where they have a banned ingredient, and it takes them 3 years for them to shut down a supplement company that's using pro hormones that are on the banned list, and they're like, what? There's no pro hormones in here. And it takes them about 3 years before they're actually shut down. And when they do shut down, they just start up a new company. And they're like, oh, this stuff actually works. Yeah, because it's got like steroids in it. But anyway, yeah, my fear is that a lot of these white labels are connected. Maybe the source isn't what we think it is. Just to take one of these as an example, echinacea root is, the plant echinacea, to harvest it, you have to harvest what we use as the herb. It's the root. So we have to completely uproot the thing, and it kills the plant. These plants do not grow very quickly, and they're very heavy feeders. So they're expensive to grow, and they don't grow very fast at all. To get enough to fill a bottle of supplements, you would need fields of this stuff. And, I don't know. I just, it's not surprising to me that it's fake. Another thing that is that I found interesting is protein powders. And there was a big scandal in China in 2008. And what had happened was that
poisoned a lot of dogs.
Well, no, they poisoned babies too, because
I know they did, but there was dog food too later on.
They did. They have I think the people that were doing this ended up getting hung too. I think they considered it to be a capital offense, and they were given the death penalty. But
China don't play no jokes.
Yeah, there's there's a chemical called melamine, and they can adulterate protein, which is like a plastic, and they can adulterate these proteins by using melamine. And if you have it lab tested, it messes up, like I think it was on the show yesterday, I was talking about nitrogen and the way nitrogen responds to microwaves and stuff. But it's the same thing with these plastics. When you introduce this plastic into a powder, like you grind it up into a very fine powder, it tricks the study when they test to see how much protein is in there, by testing the nitrogen levels. It inflates it, makes it look like there's more protein in the supplement than there actually is.
Yep.
And in the 2008 crisis in China, they were using this in baby formula, and it was causing renal failure in babies that were given the formula. And like John said, that it showed up in dog food, and I don't know where else it could have showed up in some protein powders in all over the world. You never know.
I know a long time ago, like you talk about melamine, I used to microwave melamine bowls when I was 20 or 21, and of course you're not really supposed to microwave melamine because it explodes. So I didn't realize it at the time that, of course, it was toxic as all heck. But occasionally when I put those bowls in the microwave for too long, you would hear pop, pop, and they would crack, and it would release very toxic off gases and stuff like that. So melamine does not react well in a microwave at all.
Yeah, really. What's the outgassing effect?
It's heavily toxic as far as the respiratory issues,
Wow.
which I didn't know it at the time, but I was 20, so you're not supposed to breathe in.
Hey, well, you're still alive, so I guess
Yeah,
that
I
proves
know.
it's safe.
Pretty
Eh,
sure I didn't. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I didn't get exposed to too much of it. But it would spark in a microwave, and the bowls would crack, and it would literally powder and smoke would come out of the bowls, almost like how something arcs when you put like a fork in the microwave.
yeah.
It would happen to the melamine bowls.
Okay.
So
Um, yeah, that's interesting. I don't know why that is. I've never messed with that plastic myself. Um,
but just imagine you eating this stuff being put into your food.
yeah,
Um,
that's
you
that's not
know,
good. Well, I'm sure
and
some of it, like if you use it as a container, I'm sure some of it leaches.
oh, of course, I mean that's why they don't use melamine for bowls very much anymore because of that. That's also why there's a warning on. They were later a warning put on them not to be put in the microwave because they do crack and stuff like that. It does leach more into the food. Of course, the melamine bowls came from China. Um,
Well, yeah, they're a major
so
producer of it. And that's
I
and
know.
that's why um,
I
they
mean,
can do.
China's been caught with gutter oil, um, and trying to pass off grains of plastic as grains of rice.
Interesting.
It's what links people go to con other people to make money. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Um, I don't know, but I think there's stuff like that going on all over the world, not just
There's
in
stuff like that.
China. And
Yeah, there's
and
stuff
I
like that that
think
goes to the United States too.
yeah, there's a protein powder made in the United States. They did a test on the Arnold Schwarzenegger brand Serious Mass.
Get to the chopper.
Yeah, it's supposed to have 40 grams of protein per serving, and they had it tested, and it has only 18 grams per serving. And so
So what was
a
the
lot of
rest?
these, and that was just like the most severe one that I could find, but there's a lot of other protein powders on the market that are supposed to have, a certain, they label it, they basically mislabel the product. It's supposed to have higher amounts of protein than it actually has. So that's not good. Um, yeah,
Which
life
is
extension.
which is a lot of these supplement problems are more than manufacturing problems too. A lot of them are just mislabeling as well.
Yeah, and part of it is because they have supplement designers and they have, or not supplement designers. Basically, they've got people that are product managers and they source the supplements, and then they've got a marketing team, which is completely different. And they could source, the people that source the products, they are looking to, and these product managers, they change all the time because let's say you've got somebody really good who's working for supplement company X, and they're trying to do a really diligent job of finding high quality herbs to put in their product. Well, management might look in and say, you know what, you're not meeting our demand. We need more of this stuff, and we need to sell this stuff a lot cheaper. So fix that problem. And they're like, what? That's not fair because we need to get good stuff. And so they fire them and they put somebody new in there. And it creates some market confusion. So they put somebody brand new. Usually it's somebody that doesn't know anything about it, and they put somebody who's just there that just knows about marketing, and they go in and they find something that's really cheap, and they don't care what it is. And it can take a while before a brand is tarnished like that.
Sad state of the world. But what about life extension?
Yeah, Life Extension I thought Life Extension was a pretty solid company.
Yeah, I thought they were good mid-tier, high-tier brand, but I don't
They
know.
put
I'm starting to reconsider some stuff now.
they put out some pretty decent periodicals, and they've got some stuff. But I've got a bottle of RLA on my shelf that I
Yeah, but
probably
that's
won't take
made.
anymore.
No, that's fine. It's made by Genova. They don't make their RLA. You're good.
But what about the fillers?
Yeah, it depends if Genova is producing it in their manufacturing companies or Life Extension is, through whatever manufacturer they use to produce it.
Yeah, I'm just worried that maybe Genova produces the RLA, but they're the ones that cap it, and so they put in their own fillers and binders. But it says, like, I looked on my bottle before I did the show, and it looks like they use rice flour as one of the fillers, but there was a report that came out on healthbydiet.net where the author is testing supplements for they're using a gluten test to test these supplements for gluten, and they both of the life extension products that they've tested so far have tested positive for gluten.
Yeah, the test they're using, that Health by Diet was using, was a test called Easy Gluten. And the test itself, it's like strips, and you can put the product onto the strip itself, and it tests for 3 different antibodies. 401.21 that tests for gluten and gliadin, which are gluten proteins. R5, which tests for hydrolyzed gluten, gluten that you would find like in beer, for example. The newest one is G12 antibody that's specific to gliadin only. And it's testing for these 3 antibodies. So when you put whatever supplement that you have on these test strips, it tests for direct antibodies to the gluten in the supplement and see if it reacts. So, it's good that it's testing for those antibodies, and the test does seem reliable. It is a ELISA test after all. But I don't know if there is any indirect concerns of using the Easy Gluten test itself. I did read up on it some, and it seems legit. I'm guessing, is it possible that these supplements are either picking up gluten on a conveyor belt somehow or another during production, or are the fillers inside of the supplements themselves contaminated?
Well, when they test with those strips, they have different indications of like low level, no levels, low levels.
Correct. They do.
Or
The
high
strips are
levels,
pretty
or
nice.
ultra high
Yeah.
levels, and one of them tested high. So that would be more than just cross contamination, but
Yeah. It was the 2-a-day vitamin.
yeah, in the United States, anything if you want to label a product to be gluten free, it has to be less than 20 parts per million.
Yep.
Of gluten found. But yeah, there can be, like, if they use rice flour and the rice were
rice is
milled in the
contaminated.
same plant as they mill wheat, there's cross contamination, so that can definitely happen. But I don't know. Whatever happened.
No, I was gonna say it's an eye opener. Hopefully, maybe Fix Your Gut someday soon. We can set up some stuff where we can test some proper supplements to see if there's gluten in it. Not to steal anything from HBD, but
Yeah, we're planning on doing that with probiotics and just.
Sure.
I mean, there's a lot of gluten in probiotics actually.
Oh yeah.
That's a big deal.
Because we can talk about probiotics now, as it could jump off to it. But a lot of our probiotic supplements, these probiotics are grown, as we know, in soy cultures and in milk cultures. Milk cultures definitely make sense because a lot of our fermentation probiotics like lactobacillus can be produced easily in a milk dairy culture. And we use them to make yogurt, for example. So that makes sense. Now, whether or not these probiotics themselves are, supplements have any left traces of dairy, it would depend on each individual supplement. But it's hard to tell. But it's just interesting how, most of us, when we take certain supplements, like probiotics, for example, we don't know whether or not when we take these supplements if they're alive or dead. And there's a lot of reasons why we might think that we have issues.
So my power went out again. So I apologize for that. Let me see if I can get John back. All right, bear with us, folks. All right. Well, we were talking about life extension, and we were talking about the problems with gluten contamination. And it's a serious issue with probiotics. And a lot of these probiotics that were marketed to patients with celiac disorder, they said, okay, this is a probiotic that's specially designed and blended for somebody with celiac. And so they take the supplement, and it contains gluten, so it ends up harming them instead of helping them, because their issue may not necessarily be with gut flora, although there does seem to be a link between SIBO and celiac. 80% of patients with celiac also have SIBO, but they have additional problems with, they're going to have additional problems when they take a supplement that also contains gluten. So that's not a good deal. So we really need to watch out for life extension products and a lot of products, or a lot of probiotic companies that are out there. The next supplement that we were going to talk about, or I guess the next labeling issues with supplements that we're going to talk about, are these supplements that are supposedly natural vitamins. And there are natural vitamins. You can have vitamin B made out of brewer's yeast or something, but there are companies out there that claim to be extracting vitamins naturally from fruits and vegetables, which is just plain wrong. I mean, if they're trying to do that, that's definitely not a good way to do it. You're like, it's not a good thing to do that, because it's inefficient, and when you're processing, you're processing the vegetables to extract the vitamins, you destroy the vitamins most of the time. So,
Well, I mean, even with the brewer's yeast, no one wants to take natural vitamins. When you're given the brewer's yeast, all these synthetic vitamins, and you don't know what synthetic vitamins that they're giving them, whether they're incorrect forms like vitamin, E, DL, and stuff like that. And they're giving them, brewer's yeast, all these vitamins, and they extract the vitamins from the yeast. You're still left with a lot of brewer's yeast in the supplement itself. And a lot of people who are yeast and mold sensitive, they react to these supplements very badly. I remember when I had Tinea versicolor and had issues with the yeast infection on my skin, I tried those natural vitamins, had been 4 or 5 years ago, and they gave me the worst leg cramps I've ever had in my life. And I think a lot of it had to do with me reacting to the yeast that were in these so-called natural vitamins. And they're farther that thankfully you can get for being natural. So in some ways, the best synthetic multivitamin or vitamin forms themselves are leagues better than anything natural can be. About the only thing I could suggest maybe for vitamin C is a cereal cherry powder, if made right, is a good source of natural vitamin C. You won't be able to megadose with it, but you can still get some good vitamin C. But both of these vitamins that use fruit and vegetable extracts, they have very low doses of vitamins. They're able to get at least 100% of your daily values from vitamin C and your B vitamins and stuff like that. But when it comes to the minerals, they can't.
Yeah, I have a problem with a lot of them saying that they're doing it, looking at the dosages, and I'm also worried that the extraction process will destroy a lot of the nutrients that they claim to be extracting. And it's not like they're going to go and select the highest quality fruits and vegetables out there and extract the stuff from them. It's not like they're going to the farmer's market.
No, it's going to be all the leftover vegetables and fruits, the bruised and the bad ones.
Well, that or you know, they're going to be using things that nobody want, like rose hips.
Yeah. Of course, you know, vitamin C from rose hips is way better than, you know, synthetic ascorbic acid that's been studied, you know, for 50 plus years about its safety and utilization by the body.
Why do you think it's better?
I was making a joke. I was being facetious.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So that, you know, most of it is just a marketing thing. I doubt that a lot of these companies that are saying, "Oh, this stuff has been extracted from fruits and vegetables," like, how do we know that that's true? I think I have my doubts when it comes to that. I think most of it's just marketing, and there's not. John, do you know of any big brand, you know, like reputable brands that are actually doing it that way?
I want to say no.
Yeah, I can't think of any off the top of my head either.
I mean, Genesis today has one of the only liquid natural multivitamins that I recommend, and it's because they do get it from fruits and vegetables and herbs compared to yeast, and I still think that's superior. I think getting it from fruits and vegetables is still superior than using yeast. You and I might argue about that. But I still think that its mineral profile is horrible because the minerals come from holy basil. So, you know, 20 milligrams of magnesium ain't enough. And depending on how they're extracting the vitamin C, if they use anything with heat, it's already going to be damaged.
Yeah, absolutely. Or a lot of the chemicals, because most of these, and if you're looking at a multivitamin, most of the vitamins in there are antioxidants or B vitamins. Now, B vitamins are easy to get naturally, I suppose, if you use yeasts. I don't know if, like, why is that natural when you use brewer's yeast to get B vitamins, but it's not when you use a yeast that's been designed to create ascorbic acid from eating sugar?
I don't know. This is what they claim to be, quote unquote, natural.
Yeah.
You know, and I know a lot of vegans love Mega Food and the New Chapter vitamins because they have the whole food coenzyme complexes when you take your B vitamin from New Chapter. You know, it's just, it's best to get your vitamins and nutrients from food if you can, but there's some things we lack, like a lot of minerals that we just can't, and those have to be supplemented through supplements. And there's some, of course, vitamins too, like vitamin K2, for example, you know, that we do need to, you know, take a supplement with. But as far as taking a multivitamin is concerned, which even I don't recommend taking a multivitamin anymore for most people, you need to target what's out of your diet specifically and take it. You know, stay away from the natural ones.
So I'm looking right now at the Genesis new Total Nutrition product that you were talking about, and basically they take carrots, spinach, kale, kelp, camu, maca root, acai, etc., all this stuff, and they just blend it up and reduce it. And so it's kind of like a smoothie, I guess, but what do they do to preserve it and to keep, because, you know, they say it's a unique formula, it's a blend of enzymes and amino acids. Okay, well, yeah, if you blend up all that stuff, it's got enzymes and amino acids in it from just whatever. Every living thing has enzymes and amino acids.
But doesn't it start to go, don't some of those properties start to get destroyed over time, especially if you're not refrigerating, it's just sitting on the shelf? Even if it's a sealed bottle, I doubt they're nitrogen flushing the bottle. So, you know.
Do they refrigerate this in stores?
No, they don't.
Okay.
And it's not nitrogen flushed either. So there has to be some of the stuff has to be, you know, going bad, reduced, yeah. And everything.
I think it's again, I think it's like they started off with a good idea, which is like, how do we get people to get their nutrition from vegetables instead of synthetics? And so they're like, okay, well, we'll just make a smoothie. And then they're like, oh, well, this smoothie stuff's not working out because they're going to have to drink like bottles of this stuff to get their daily doses of vitamins and minerals. And so they said, well, we'll condense it. And they're like, oh, well, this is messing everything up again. So I don't know. It's probably, it started with a good idea and they invested a lot in it, and then they ended up with that. But I don't trust it.
Don't use camu to get your vitamin C, I guess is what Jason's saying.
Yeah, I mean, look, there is no chemical difference between synthetic ascorbic acid and vitamin C that comes from apples. There's absolutely no difference. It's the same molecule no matter where it comes from. Same thing is true for any compound. You know, it's like, oh, well, if I eat sugar from fruits, it's different than eating, it's a different kind of sugar than if you eat, sugar from, processed sugar. Okay, well, it's the same sugar molecules. It might have a different glycemic index because there's fiber and there's, water and there's a bunch of minerals and stuff, but it's the same sugar. It's exactly the same. The fructose from Mountain Dew is exactly the same as the fructose in bananas. Sorry, that's how it goes.
Well, hold on. What about if it's high fructose corn syrup then?
High fructose corn syrup.
Okay, the fructose is the same. It's more fructose in the actual end product.
Yeah, the amount of fructose and the concentration of fructose.
Well, fructose is still the same.
But yeah, fructose is
okay. I see what you're saying. Okay.
In fact, even in the how the body treats glucose, what's the difference between eating sugar or eating starch, or eating a starchy, like a potato, something that's a quick starch? There's not, there's maybe a little bit difference in glycemic load, but that's about it.
Well, I mean, they said that the main issue with high fructose corn syrup, even though the additional fructose isn't good in it, is the actual solvents that they found in most of the finished products, like mercury, for example, being contaminated in a lot of high fructose corn syrup products. So, that's going to cause a lot of issues if you're ingesting mercury and, ethanol-based solvents and stuff like that.
Yeah. Interesting. I hadn't heard that one.
Yeah, I don't know. It was in the news a long time ago about most high fructose corn syrup being contaminated with mercury.
Huh. Interesting. I wonder if it's because of, well, I wonder if it's just because of the concentration of the amount of corn that it takes, or the amount of cornstarch that it makes to produce the fructose, and that's.
They were saying it was a solvent.
Oh yeah, that makes sense too. All right. The next, I guess, supplement that's on our radar is the omega supplements. Flaxseed oil is a supplement that I don't recommend, and I don't
recommend either. If you're a vegan or vegetarian, get your DHA from algae.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the flaxseed oil is it's a long chain form of omega-3, and it's, especially for men, we convert it to usable omega-3s like DHA and EPA at like
a very poor rate.
Yeah, it's like 99-1.
Like women can halfway get around it according to studies. I wouldn't still use it because of other issues that are wrong with linseed and flaxseed oil, but men definitely, it's pretty much useless for men.
Yeah, so when we talk about ALA and you see ALA, you got to remember there's two different types of ALA. There's alpha linoleic acid, like I was talking about the life extension thing earlier, which they source it from Genova. But there's
alpha lipoic acid.
Yeah.
You said alpha linoleic acid.
Oh, sorry. Alpha lipoic acid, alpha linoleic acid is what's in flaxseed oil. And there's a bunch of like hippie sites out there that are like, no, man, that's like the mother molecule, man. You break it down into what you need, and that's
No,
absolute
no.
nonsense.
Humans have a hard time doing, especially men. Jason is 100% right about that. And then also we got to talk about rancidity issues with flaxseed oil, and I mean, eating flax seeds every so often, if you choose to eat a ground flaxseed meal, works good as a prebiotic and fiber to bulk up the stools. But as far as its ALA content, it's pretty much useless.
Yeah, I agree. A lot of,
And then of course,
if you're gonna get it, which I don't know why you would at this point if you heard anything we've said for the past couple minutes, but at least get the refrigerated stuff, because it's probably not as oxidized.
just eat chia seeds. They're higher in ALA. Flaxseed's not even the highest source of ALA that you can get. Just eat some chia seeds.
Yeah, and it's not pure omega-3 either. I mean, there's an omega 3 to 6 ratio. I don't remember what it is off of the top of my head either, but there is some omega-6s in it, and as the data would suggest, most Westerners eat way too much omega-6 and not enough omega-3, and most Westerners get way too much PUFA anyway, which it's really, I wouldn't say disturbing, but it's kind of counterintuitive for me to see omega-6 and 9 products on the shelves. And they call
especially omega-6. They say omega-3, 6, 9. For your hair and your nails.
Yeah, they have products that are like omega balance. Make sure you have omega balance, and it's got omega-3, 6, and 9 all in the supplement. It's a total waste of money, and it's probably more harmful for you than helpful, because if you're gonna if you're taking a supplement that's increasing your polyunsaturated fatty acid or PUFA percentage, it's like, okay, why don't you just swallow quarters?
Yeah, it's not good. You wouldn't. There's very few people who have an omega-6 deficiency. I mean, it is possible if you were eating nothing but seafood, and stuff like that. Have a very extremely low PUFA diet, because we do need omega-6s. Prostaglandin production is important by the human body from arachidonic acid. It's just the overabundance, which is what's bad.
Yeah, well, there are omega-6 fatty acids in seafood too. They have a high 3 to 6 ratio, but they also have omega-6.
I'd almost say it's impossible for you to have an omega-6 deficiency unless you're born with a genetic disorder.
Well, if you're
fat metabolism.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you're it's hard to if you're eating meat, but and it's kind of hard to if you're eating plants too. I think you could design a diet though, like if you just ate, I don't know, even if you ate kale all the time, there's trace amounts. I don't know. Who knows? I wouldn't worry too much about being deficient in omega-6.
I'd be more worried about being deficient in omega-3 for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And not just being deficient in omega-3 , but eating the optimal levels or consuming the optimal levels of omega-3, particularly DHA and EPA.
And getting the right forms too, from like calamari oil or eating seafood.
Yeah, that's right. So, yeah. That's all I wanted to talk about for omega-3s, 6 and 9 supplements. So let's talk about things like grapefruit seed extract and grape seed extract. All these, they're supposedly labeled as antibacterials.
Okay.
Antimicrobials, I mean.
Grapefruit seed extract it's a scam. And a lot of people still recommend it for its supposed antibacterial properties that do not exist, at least through the studies. Grape seed extract did not, if it even is a true extract, that's most of the stuff that you're getting. NutraBio claims that since they were the main developer and distributor of GSE, that it has broad spectrum antimicrobial properties. Well, the issue is when studies were starting to be done to find out exactly what compounds in GSE were known to have these antimicrobial effects. Because when we think about supplements from plants and stuff like that, we have to find out what these specific compounds are that target bacteria, or parasites. For example, like black walnut contains jugalone, which jugalone inhibits the electron train transport in mitochondria, and parasites, paralyzes, kills them. So we have to find out what compounds these are, how they work, and if they're safe, and stuff like that. And pharmaceutical companies are interested in this too, because sometimes they can take some of these compounds and turn them relatively easily into medications. For example, there are quite a few medications that do come originally from herbs or direct from herbs, like digitalis for heart, and what's the popular flu medication, Jason? The Tamiflu.
Yeah,
Tamiflu is made by star anise, which is spice, and actually 70% of the star anise that's harvested is used to produce the active ingredient Tamiflu. So that's why when they look at these extracts from fruits or vegetables or herbs, they have to determine why these have antimicrobial properties. Well, GSE was found out had no direct antimicrobial properties whatsoever. What they did find was very alarming. They found hexane. They found benzothenium chloride, which is, of course, everybody knows it now as Lysol, benzoic acid, triclosan, and parabens. And majority of these extracts, which all these were the solvents and manufacturing chemicals that they used to produce these extracts. And that was what had the antimicrobial properties. The GSE itself did not. And some of them are really nasty. Triclosan specifically, we talked about with Stephen Erb, with him being a nurse. Triclosan, it works on bacteria by inhibiting fatty acid synthesis through the ENR enzyme. Now, they claim that human beings don't have, use the same enzyme to produce fatty acids, so it's fine. But what they forgot to figure out is that triclosan itself is a major endocrine disruptor, and it inhibits the thyroid, and also is very potent in skin allergies. So all these solvents that were in GSE, and all the manufactured chemicals that were used for were what were causing the antibacterial agents. So imagine you're ingesting all this stuff thinking it's supposed to help you, like you have SIBO, for example, help you get over your overgrowth. Where in reality, it does work, but you're taking all of these nasty industrial byproducts that you would not want to ingest. You don't want to ingest Lysol. You don't want to ingest triclosan. You don't want to ingest parabens, or let alone put parabens in your skin, because most parabens are in lotions and stuff like that we put on our skin. I've also known to have issues with cancer and endocrine disruption as well. So it's scary that the supplement that's touted to have all these great antimicrobial properties is just from all the nasty chemicals that are put on it. Now, I can't find a single source that disputes this except for NutriBio themselves. They dispute it, but the link that they have to actually dispute all of these studies, which there's 5, by the way, the link's broken. So I don't know what their side is on it.
Yeah, it doesn't look good. I mean, it would be like if I sold sawdust as an antimicrobial and I just sprayed Lysol on it and put it in caps. Yeah, it would kill.
Lysol works.
It would do it. It would work, but that's not really what I want to do.
And I don't want people to tell me that your grandma used to douche with Lysol, okay? Because it was originally.
My grandma?
No, I mean Lysol was originally used as a douching chemical. It'd probably be your great grandmother.
What?
It was.
My great grandma? What are you
Yes,
talking
yes.
about my great grandmother doing stuff like that?
I'm sorry, but she
Not even alive to defend herself.
she had to make sure she had a clean region down there for her grandfather.
Oh,
But it would greatly disrupt the mucosal barrier. You know, you don't want to ingest Lysol ever. You don't even really want to get it on your skin, let alone ingest it. I mean, benzoathenium chloride is used as an antimicrobial agent, even in, you know, skin preparations and occasionally in oral rinses, you know, that's diluted. But I still wouldn't take it because it's known to be strongly linked to contact dermatitis and, if inhaled, asthma. So, you know, it's just, they're not good chemicals. Especially, you know, if you want to take something for its antimicrobial benefits, you don't want to be ingesting all this nasty stuff.
all right. Yeah, I agree. Let's move on to weight loss supplements. There are a lot of weight loss scams out there. There's a lot of people who are desperate to lose weight and they don't want to do it through diet and exercise. So what they do is they put out these weight loss supplements, and some of them contain harsh stimulants, and a lot of those actually work, but then there's some ones that outright don't work at all.
Run three dimethylamine, what used to be in nasal sprays. Of course, it got banned.
Yeah. But you know, raspberry ketones, how many times have you seen? I mean, I used to go into the grocery store, I'd see like a 4-way display of raspberry ketones, like lose weight for the summer.
I remember the day Dr. Oz came out with raspberry ketones, as far as he produced it on a show, a segment about it.
Does he sell supplements?
No, I got that wrong. He didn't produce it. I mean, produce a supplement, but problem with Dr. Oz is, when I worked at the vitamin shop, is no matter what he recommended, people would come in and ask for it all the time. So he could say, you know, go take raspberry ketones, you'll lose weight. And I'm like, people come in asking for it. I mean, it would drive up business at the vitamin shop like crazy. And I'm sitting here going, there's no study that raspberry ketones work at all. Why is Dr. Oz recommending this? You know, and I like Dr. Oz. It's nice to do natural health and all that stuff, but I hate to say it, but some of the Congress's qualms with the guys is kind of legitimate.
Yeah.
And I know I might get scared by that, but when he recommends something based in science.
Yeah, I mean, he has a team too, just like everybody else.
I know.
Hey, when are we going to get a team?
I don't know. We need enough donations to come in for a live stream so we can start hiring.
Donate so we can get a team, so we can start recommending dumb stuff. Like Hoodia.
Like oil pulling without using coconut oil.
Was it Hoodia or Hoodia, or how do you pronounce it?
I mean, Hoodia doesn't have any basis either, other than African tribesmen that used to chew it. They claim, well, they could go hours on the hunt without being hungry. I don't know. Maybe it's because of their diet and their ketosis and their genetic makeup, you know, and their, you know, exposure to natural light and their circadian rhythm being proper, you know, or is it this Hoodia herb that they're chewing on, you know? The studies with Hoodia, there's none. There's none.
Yeah. What about green coffee extract?
The collagenic acid's good for you. I mean, a bulletproof cup of bulletproof coffee is going to have some in it.
Yeah,
maybe you should drink bulletproof coffee.
Well, that was, I think, the biggest deal from Dr. Oz was, like, he had to testify in front of Congress because of a show that he did in 2012 about green coffee extract, and he had to go in front of the Federal Trade Commission. And
the thing is, like we're talking about earlier with raspberry ketones, it costs so much, because all raspberry ketones are supposed to be is a flavor extract. And raspberry flavor extract costs so much money to make that I'm pretty sure that none of these supplements have raspberry ketones in them at all. I'd be darn near surprised if they even did.
Well, I think they just use alpha ketoglucarate.
They're going to have to. They can't be straight from raspberry, because it'd be impossible to. It costs too much.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's the weight loss supplement industry, you know, and the bodybuilding supplement industry those are bad. But the thing is, like, what it does is and that's kind of the responsibility that, you know, bloggers have, and that people that do podcasts and people who do like shows like Dr. Oz, is when you say something on your show, like take green coffee bean extract or take raspberry ketones or whatever to lose weight, you know, this will help you lose weight. Then these supplement companies can start bottling this stuff, and they can put on the thing, you know, Dr. Oz says it helps you lose weight. And that was one of the biggest problems, is because these, even though they had nothing, absolutely nothing to substantiate these claims, they were like, oh, we have Dr. Oz. He's a doctor, you know.
But there's, yeah, I know, it blows my mind of how someone can I mean, I can understand if there was one study, you know, like we could talk about Tribulus. Tribulus has mixed studies with this efficiency as far as boosting testosterone. So I'll give Tribulus a pass. I won't give Chrysin a pass. It has no studies whatsoever whether or not it reduces testosterone or not, unless it's injected directly in your testicles. Then it works. But orally, no, it doesn't work. So, you know, why are people making these recommendations about supplements that have no studies? Not even like raspberry ketones, for example. It's not even, or at least hoodie I can understand, because the African tribesmen, at least someone can make a correlation between them chewing on the hoodie herb and, you know, not eating for long periods of time. But raspberry ketones, can you explain it to me, Jason, why they made such a giant leap between? It's not like someone being like, I'm eating a lot of raspberries all the time, or raspberry flavor extract, I'm into pounds.
I don't know, but I think they may have gotten confused with people doing ketogenic diets to lose weight, and then they're like, oh, we'll just eat ketones. And there's somebody else now, I forget, there's some kind of blogger or podcaster. I know it doesn't, but there's like another blogger or podcaster. Oh no, it was never mind. I won't even go down that road. But somebody else was, you know, they were recommending ketones also to get yourself into ketosis faster. If you want to get yourself into ketosis faster, take MCT oil. You'll start producing them right away. But anyway, okay, so we're going to move on. We don't have a lot of time left. But poor supplement companies that are selling vitamins in the wrong form.
Vitamin DL, vitamin E DL, which originally was in glutathione, Dave's glutathione, until I called him out and he changed it. I have it saved on the forum of where I was like, why are you using this? So, But other than that, I mean, yeah, there's horrible forms. You know, you don't. Now we're talking about synthetic forms. Vitamin E DL is synthetic. It is, but it's not the same as natural vitamin E is.
No, it's yeah. You have what the DL is referring to is the shape of the chilarity of the molecule. So you have like the natural chilarity in the reverse. So you can't have a molecule that's DL. It's impossible. That's like, if you can't, like, you shouldn't have two thumbs on your hand. They don't have two thumbs. So what is DL then? DL is half D and half L. So
the body doesn't recognize it very well. It goes,
yeah, and there has been, I think there's been links to cancer and stuff.
Correct.
Yeah, bad stuff. So don't take it.
And every negative study that they use, that to my knowledge, that they blame vitamin E on, like cancer, for example, they use DL. And DL is made from petroleum. It's a petroleum-based synthetic supplement.
Yeah, you want to take alpha tropitol, but
or at least mextropitols, at least mixed, or something that's not DL. But of course, you want to talk about vitamin K3, which kill people's livers.
Yeah. So like they have these like K like blends of K. Vitamin K1 you should never supplement with. It's kind of a waste. We can recycle. It
doesn't convert very easily.
It doesn't, yeah. And K3 is toxic, so don't do that.
They don't even sell K3 in the United States anymore. And it was funny because the pharmaceutical companies were like, yeah, we can make a cheap version of vitamin K and it'll stay longer in the body. And
yeah, and the same thing is true with your D vitamins, like ergocalciferol is vitamin D1, which you shouldn't take. It's like an inferior form of, no, it's vitamin D2.
I was about to say it's vitamin D2. You're talking about ergot carciferol, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, most vegans take that, but they actually made an algae-based vitamin D3 for
No, I
vegans
think
to
it's a
take.
mushroom base. They
It might have been
use,
mushroom. I see
yeah.
an algae
They
one
like
too.
they take these mushrooms and they shine a UV light on them, and they're like, when they put them upside down, and the cathestrol goes down to the bottom. But
Because most of the castor that in supplements is made from sheep lanolin irradiation.
yeah, yeah, and that's fine. But yeah, and nothing beats getting vitamin D from the sunlight. But
Of
because,
course.
just like vitamin A, the UV radiation is needed to be able to create sulfonized D3, which you need. So get out in the sun. You can
What
still
about
supplement it, and it still will raise your values, but it's best to get it from the sun. There's no question about that.
what about cyanocobalamin? Taking cobalamin itself and add a little bit of cyanide because it's heavily cheap instead of adding methyl as a methyl donor or adenosine or hydryl. So here's a little bit of cyanide. Which are which it's not going to directly kill anybody, but it is not good to ingest cyanide.
Yeah. So a lot of people are saying, well, then if these supplements are so bad, then why are they getting such good reviews on Amazon? And there's a lot of shady stuff going on Amazon also. I recently received some free supplements in the mail, some stuff that I would never take. And from a company that I'd ordered from, I'd ordered a different product from, from one of these. Amazon, I think they have, I'm not sure how their shipping service works, but you buy something on Amazon, it may not be Amazon selling it to you, it might be
Correct.
somebody else.
It might not be a direct distribution from Amazon warehouse.
And so this company that did this transaction sent me some other stuff, and I contacted them like, hey, why are you sending me this stuff? And they're like, oh yeah, I was hoping that you would try it and then add some positive reviews to the thing. So they're basically like they're farming out positive reviews for supplements that didn't work. And a lot of these things that they sent me were, some of the weight loss or test building stuff, testosterone building stuff that don't really work. And so a lot of people just waste tons of money on these test boosters and weight loss things. And so if you go to Amazon, you're like, well, all these people, it says it's working for them. A lot of those might be reviews that have been like ill-begotten. I don't know. How would you describe that? Like there's
I would look out for accounts that only have one or two reviews on them.
Yeah. It could just be people that are just, they can inflate their reviews. So
and sometimes with Amazon, it'll say verified purchase if someone bought the actual product.
Yeah, it's true. But I think like a lot of them, like there's another company that said that, like there was a supplement that I actually liked that I bought from this company. And then they said, okay, we'll send you a second one if you leave us a positive review on Amazon. And so
that's kind of bending the rules.
I don't know if they haven't. Do they have any rules?
No, they don't. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I used to give out 30-minute coaching to anybody who left a review on the book, but I didn't say positive. I just wanted an honest review. You liked it or not. Just the more reviews, the better.
And I guess not all of them were positive either, and you still get the coaching.
Yeah, of course. So.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that's our show for today. Right after this show, I'm going to be contacting somebody who's one of our subscribers on YouTube to give away a box of Unfair Advantage from Upgraded Self. So I hope if I draw your name that I can contact you through your YouTube account or at least figure out who you are. Otherwise, I'm going to skip you and I'm going to draw somebody else's name.
And of course, take a whole box and get jacked.
Yeah.
No, don't take a whole box at one time. That was a joke.
Yeah.
It was a running joke.
Are you sure? I think there was somebody I knew from the help desk or whatever at Bulletproof, and they got they got reamed because they said to take, like, oh yeah, upgraded glutathione, you can take as much as you want. And they were like, you never ever tell a customer to take more than what the direction says, or something like that. And so they just got chewed out. But I mean, I've taken a syringe of glutathione. I've done it every day for a month.
I was about to say with glutathione you might get away with it. With activated charcoal, I'm pretty sure if you swallowed the whole bottle, you might end up with a Bezor.
What's a Bezor?
It's a stomach obstruction. Usually happens from hair, but it can happen from charcoal.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
People swallow a lot of hair and it turns into a ball of hair in your stomach. That's a tangent. So.
I don't know. I haven't heard of that. I thought that was with cats or something. They cough it up.
No, it's human beings too.
Okay. Stop eating your hair.
Stop eating large fists.
That's our show. That's our show. That's
Good night, everybody.
Our closing message is stop eating your hair. Good night. Thanks for watching.